the difference between simping and being a gentleman. So I see those two things as very, very different. You know, for me, like a simp is a doormat. That's somebody who's always like, baby, what can I do for you? You're so gorgeous today. Can I get you anything? Has no life of their own, you know, chases the girl in high school down the hallway and is carrying all her books where he's basically ready to like fall on the floor himself. But then there's a gentleman. And what I find is that I actually have a two-part question. The first part is, why do guys know from a very, very young age, going through middle school, high school, that being a simp is not a recipe for success? Like the simp doesn't get the cheerleader, right? They know that.
It is, but yeah.
They see that manifest in real life. Like this behavior is not leading to success, but they repeat it over and over and over. You've got guys in their mid-20s still doing that, still acting like that, even though their whole past shows them that this is not the way to go. So I want to ask you about why that is. So I'm just making note of that. And then, but the other side to that, before I forget, is the difference between a simp and a gentleman. Oftentimes I will hear guys say, well, I was a simp and then I turned around and now I'm changing and now they don't want to be a gentleman at all. Now they're the complete opposite, did a 180. And I'm like, no, that's not good either. So I'm hoping you can articulate maybe the why of why that behavior continues.
Jerks.
But they do want a gentleman. Women want a gentleman. They just want
a gentleman who's a jerk.
They want a gentleman they want the open your car door. They don't want a jerk.
That's the funniest thing I ever hear is like, when
they do.
I don't know if you guys talked about this with Justin yesterday, but like you're talking about chivalry, right?
I didn't talk about it with Justin, but I have talked about it.
Open the door for a woman, and I don't care if she has a problem with it. Do you honestly think that any woman that's hanging out with Justin Waller is going to go, oh, no, I got the door, hang on? What?
No, not somebody he would choose, not somebody he would choose to take out.
Is that what defines chivalry? Opening a door. I open the door for my elderly, mother-in-law. I open the door for people who just out of common courtesy at the damn grocery store. Does that mean I'm a chivalrous knight in shining armor? No, that doesn't. And I hate the idea that that's like the benchmark for chivalry. There's so much more to it than that, than just like, or it's like when guys say, well, I want a woman who can cook and clean. Okay, and then what?
Right.
And then
no,
what?
But I'm not limiting it.
What else is value added beyond cooking and cleaning?
Not to interrupt you, but I'm not limiting it to opening a door. But I am saying, like, opens the car door for you, pays the bill when you go out. Walks on the right side, on the side of the street where we were talking about how like a guy needs to walk on the side of the street where he's more in the danger zone. I love that. I actually love that. I hadn't thought about it like that. Put you in the danger zone, babe.
History of that?
No, but I'm happy that my husband is walking in the danger zone, and I love it. So go ahead.
The reason why it is appropriate, or the etiquette is for the man to walk on the outside of the street, is because back in the Renaissance times that's where they threw slops. And so all the bedpans and all the shit that got thrown out the windows would splash in the streets, and it would be the guy that got shit all over him. That's really what it was about. It wasn't about the danger zone. Now, I mean, maybe a little bit, but
it's very that to me.
The lady can't get slops on her.
But that's chivalrous to me. A guy saying, you know what, if God forbid anything happened, I'm going to shield my woman. Or I know, like my husband used to always in the car, even when I'm sitting in the front seat, although I don't sit in the front seat much now because I'm in the back with the baby, but in the front seat, if he had to stop short, he would always reach over, even though I have my seatbelt on. That I love that. That to me is chivalrous, though, and those are the things guys don't do anymore. Partly because it's been beaten out of them figuratively by modern feminism, and now they think that's bad behavior somehow. But also because they spend a lot of time being a simp in their younger years, not being a gentleman, being a simp, and then they get to that point and they're like, oh, I'm not going to do anything nice for a girl. I'm done. You get walked all over. So how do you reconcile that?
Yeah. Well, it's the juice ain't worth the squeeze. That's really what you're saying. And I get that. And is it chivalry? I think chivalry is the wrong word, quite honestly. If you look at like the history of chivalry, it had nothing to do with defending milady's honor. It was actually an agreement. It was a chivalric code between men of medieval ancient Europe, right? But then, of course, what you're really referring to is what's known as courtly love and the romantic ideal. That's what you're really. I know that's why I don't think we should call it chivalry. Mm-hmm. It's courtly love and the romantic. I get into this in my fourth book, but it's the idea that the guy has certain. To prove really what it is it's a set a code of etiquette that in some way proves the quality of the guy to the woman. And what do each of those, like if the guy puts his arm around you or he pays for something, what he's saying is like, I've got the resource, I've got surplus resources to take care of you and any future children that we have. Yeah. I can kick ass I have a capacity for violence. I have a capacity to protect you. And even if somebody pisses me off so much that they besmirch your honor, then I can also go kick their asses too, if that's the case, right? Meaning that if somebody tries to take advantage of you in this very dangerous, chaotic world, I can be your protector. So all of the things that are associated with what we want to call chivalry now, but really it's like the romantic ideal, is their behaviors and their customs, really, that are meant to prove certain aspects. And usually it's the beta buck side of things. It's, I can protect you, I can provide for you, and I'd be a good dad. I'm parentally invested. So if you look at all of those things, that's really why women still want to have the benefits and the privileges of this new order of feminism and gynocentrism. They really want, I want to be respected by default, right? I want to be, taken seriously. I want to be in an equal partnership, but I also want you to open the door for me, pay for the date. I want you to, show me all these quote unquote chivalrous aspects of your personality. And I want that old order privileges, and I also want this new order privileges too. Well, the problem is those often conflict with one another. So when I talk about how men are held responsible for those old order behaviors and the mindset, and I'll walk on this side of the street and I'll open the door for you. That's kind of like this old order responsibility. But the new order privileges for women is you don't have any authority as a man to tell me what the fuck I can do, even though if somebody assaults us on the street, I'm the one that has to go kick this guy's ass or die trying. That's the difference between the two. In the old order, it was responsibility with the authority of having a masculine authority. In the new order, it's, I want all of that, but I don't want you to have any kind of authority, and I want to be the head of the household, and I want a quote unquote equal partnership, right? Or want some sort of egalitarian equalism. And that's the conflict that you're seeing between, if you want to know why we talk about simps and we talk about the chivalry versus simp, the gentleman versus simp, right? The simp is really kind of like the new order kind of thing. Yeah. The gentleman is in the old order, but the problem is we look at the guy who is the gentleman who has all those qualities of this old order chivalry, and we say that guy's a simp, because in the new order, that guy is not expecting to have any kind of authority, and really, from a statewide perspective, you can't out alpha the state as it is. So really, it's all responsibility and no authority in the new order. So it's old order responsibility, and in the new order, there's no authority that is commensurate with that, so that you can at least earn respect and then also be able to affect that responsibility in the first place. That's why I always say that patriarchy is a much more balanced system than feminism or gynocentrism ever will be, because in an idealistic state, in an ideal state, patriarchy is about responsibility and having commensurate authority to affect that responsibility. As a patriarch, as a guy who is the head of my household, I have a lot of responsibilities. A responsibility to my child, a responsibility to my wife, a responsibility to, keeping food on the table and the lights come on in the house. I have a lot of responsibility, but as a benefit, I have the authority so that I can affect that responsibility in the first place. In the new order, I don't have any of that, which is replaced by the state right now. And if he fucks up, then I can get him out of the house, and I still have all those beta bucks long-term security benefits, at least perceptually, going forward. I can get alimony, I can get divorce, I can get child support, I can get AFDC, I can get all this other stuff. And so that man in the new order, that chivalrous guy, that gentleman in the new order, is superfluous. Nice to have, but not necessary.
You didn't know we're still in the patriarchy. You didn't get the memo from Drew Afwalo that we're still in the patriarchy umbrella. You didn't get it. Wait.
Here. Let me see. I got her too. Hold on. There we go.
She's always like, you're a pick me. Not about me, but just about people who, it's interesting. They've created this paradigm, which is really fascinating to me, that women, you can't criticize women. Guys can't criticize women, according to these, the Drew Afwalos of the world. Guys can't criticize women because it's labeled misogyny. And now women can't critique women because we're a pick me. So somehow all of these young women that are lost in making decisions that are bad for themselves, nobody's allowed to say anything about it, apparently. Not men, not women. Isn't that convenient? Interesting. If you like the short clip and want to watch another short clip, click here. Or if you want to watch the full episode, click right here.